Next on Worcester News tonight, introducing the architects of Polar Park and their ideas for the future home of the Worcester Red Sox. Plus, the government shutdown and snowstorms lead to an emergency need for blood donations in central Massachusetts. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. The potential for snow squalls and a major drop in temperature is making for a tricky weather situation tonight into tomorrow. A winter weather advisory is in effect until 5 a.m. Wednesday. Let's send it right over to meteorologist Tim Kelly for a first look at the forecast.
Couple things did not work out as expected today. I thought would make it to freezing. There's still a chance the day's not over, but we were in the lower 20s most of the day, at least at the airport, and it did not snow in Atlanta, or maybe there were a few snowflakes, but mostly rain. But it is snowing to our west, and we are getting snow outside tonight. There's a bit of a boundary. Today, the high temperature in southern New Hampshire close to 20, while it was close to 40 in parts of Rhode Island. And here's sort of a wall of snow coming in here. It's not a real big, intense storm, but it is going to snow hard for several hours. The wind is feeding in warmer, more humid air off the ocean, running into that cold air we have in place. So between 7 and 8 o'clock, all of a sudden the ground is turning white, and it's a full-on snowfall between, say, 9 o'clock and 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning before we start to mix with sleet and freezing rain. The ground could get coated with 2 or 3 inches of snow. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning. The temperature goes above freezing briefly, and then it goes back down. So if we do get any wet, it's going to refreeze for a very slippery start tomorrow at 7 a.m., but the rain and snow are long gone. The sun comes out, temperatures hold in the 20s, lower elevations may get back to 30, and then a snow squall to complicate the afternoon and evening commute before we turn bitter cold on Thursday. Details coming up.
And Worcester's parking ban goes into effect at 8 p.m. tonight. City leaders and the Pawtucket Red Sox introducing Polar Park architects Tuesday. The group sat down to discuss future plans for the stadium and its surrounding area. They say it won't be your average ballpark. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us live now from Worcester City Hall. Rosalind?
Olivia, the meeting was held here earlier today at City Hall. We didn't hear any specifics on the design, but we do know 2 major league companies are working to get it done. The planned groundbreaking for Polar Park is less than 6 months away. Tuesday, the city of Worcester introduces the design team responsible.
This is an urban ballpark, and we wanted to complement the organic energy that's happening in the Canal District and the historic nature of this part of Worcester.
Somerville-based DAIQ will provide architectural design services for the ballpark. Watertown-based Sosowski Associates will focus on the urban design and the landscape around it. All say they want the ballpark to be unique to Worcester and want it to be a big part of the community beyond baseball.
We're sizing public spaces so that they can be appropriately sized for the game, but also be used for public meetings, public events.
It's going to be used by people and by organizations and by charities and by other sports organizations.
The plan is to break ground in July. Paw Sox president Dr. Charles Steinberg says people in the community have an input in the design. He has written down more than 400 ideas from the public to show the design team.
You build a ballpark that fulfills the vision of a ballpark that looks and feels and smells and tastes like Worcester because you're building it for the people who are going to use it.
The 10,000-seat stadium will be accessible for everyone. The team says they are also looking to make it as energy efficient as possible.
But the certification, that's maybe less important. The actual energy efficiencies and benefits, I think, are definitely a principle that we're pursuing with the project.
The 2 companies have impressive resumes for building sports stadiums, including renovating Fenway Park. Live in Worcester, Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester City Councilor Sean Rose is proposing an idea to transform the Greendale Mall into a new home for a city department. Rose is requesting City Manager Edward Augustus explore options to consolidate the DPW buildings on Albany Street, Meade Street, and East Park into the Greendale Mall. Rose says he got the idea after seeing the city's current DPW buildings and believes their locations could attract buyers.
I would even be open to the idea of a developer coming in and getting the mall and saying, I can make this into an efficient option for residents as it relates to city services. So I'm looking at it from all angles. I'm excited about the rich conversation.
And the item is on the agenda for tonight's City Council meeting. Northbridge residents are speaking out about a war memorial and athletic field they say needs a lot of attention. The community group Friends of LaSalle Field says the conditions of the grass field are a safety hazard and it's time to switch to turf. The group asked the town to place an article on the spring town meeting warrant. They also asked to place a question on the town election ballot for a $2.78 million one-year property tax debt exclusion to renovate the athletic field, track, and stadium. A blood shortage during winter months isn't uncommon. Snowstorms and severe weather have canceled blood drives before, but this month dozens of drives were also canceled because of the government shutdown. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now with more on how this is affecting the American Red Cross. Brittany.
Olivia, the Red Cross had to cancel dozens of blood drives at government locations due to the shutdown, including one here in Massachusetts. They say right now they are in an emergency need of donations. The government shutdown is over, but its effects are still being felt at the American Red Cross. Tuesday, the organization announced they are in an emergency need of blood donations.
We had about 30 blood drives nationally scheduled at federal government locations, and due to the shutdown, we had to cancel those events. So that's just added to the challenging situation that we're already in.
Brian Jernigan donated his 321st platelet at the Worcester Donor Center Tuesday. The Southbridge resident says it's unfortunate the shutdown is affecting groups who give to those in need.
It's just a really poor situation. It's something that shouldn't have to be. Like it's an organization like this or any like charity type thing shouldn't have to want for anything.
Jernigan comes in every other week to donate. He says a close friend is the motivation for him to give blood.
Reason why I sort of do this because a number of years ago my karate teacher died from leukemia. These used to help treat leukemia.
John O'Rell has been donating for decades and says giving blood only takes 10 minutes.
I can't remember when I wasn't donating blood. The Red Cross makes it very simple and easy process to do, and knowing you're helping someone else is a very worthwhile thing.
The Red Cross says hospitals are currently using more blood than they are receiving. Account executive Katie Lawler says the possibility of another government shutdown is concerning.
We'll have to wait and see. We're hopeful that the politicians can come to a resolution, so we won't have to cancel any more blood drives, but that certainly is a lingering concern. If that happens again, we might lose out on more donations.
And Lawler says they are in need of all blood types, but specifically O negative because it's the universal donor. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
The MBTA announces a new proposal Monday to increase rider fares across the board. The move would impact commuter rail riders here in Worcester. The proposal would raise fares 6.3% and take effect in July. The increase would raise Charlie card prices from $2.25 to $2.40. Bus fares would also go up 10 cents. This is the first increase since 2016. The MBTA says the proposed increase is in line with the rate of inflation in the Boston area and is necessary for the authority to continue making investments to improve service. Some riders at Union Station in Worcester say they're not happy about the price potentially going up.
I don't like it. At least it's not like a lot, but I'd prefer if they didn't. Hopefully it doesn't continue.
I mean, it's only 5 cents more, but it still adds up. So I think that's kind of like, I don't know. It's lame, but it is what it is. Like if it happens, it happens.
And state law allows the MBTA to raise fares no more than 7% once every 2 years. The authority says they'll be holding public meetings until February 28th. The Fiscal and Management Control Board is expected to vote on it in March. Getting a jump start on college classes and the skills they may need for future jobs, students at Uxbridge High School say the district's Innovation Pathway program gives them the tools they need to succeed. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now with more on the program. Chandler.
Olivia, the Innovation Pathway program piloted last year. The state says they see work-based learning, and experience as the future of education. High school student Hallie Doppler makes the lieutenant governor a personalized keychain using a laser. It's a skill she's learned by taking innovation pathway classes at Uxbridge High School.
It was very fun to just showcase what I've been doing for the past semester.
The state program gives students hands-on experience and training for jobs in demand close to home.
Have our students ready when they leave here to do whatever they want to do, whether it's continuing in the field or use the skills they've had to go study something else.
Uxbridge High was one of the first 4 schools to offer the program. They received about $125,000 from the Baker-Polito administration this month for new equipment and professional development for teachers.
To provide our students the best experience, the teachers have the curriculum, the knowledge on how to deliver that curriculum, and then have the types of equipment that students are going to see when they enter college and when they go into employment.
About half of the high school's 600 or so students are taking an innovation pathway class in subjects like manufacturing, engineering, and design. The Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce works to connect manufacturing students with area businesses.
These innovation pathways are critical, not only for the future workforce in this region, but also for these students to gain the skills so that they can become employable.
Doppler is a senior and says the program is what made her realize she wants to pursue a degree in graphic design.
By exploring all of these different options, I get a little taste of everything, so I can really figure out what I want to do.
The state says they're hopeful schools like Uxbridge become the model for what other communities can do. They're hoping to reach 60,000 to 70,000 more Massachusetts students over the next several years. Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Fire Department and several other first responders from across the state competing in the Be Fit First Responder Challenge this past weekend. First responders completed several different tasks, some with their gear on, including running laps and climbing stairs. 28 Worcester firefighters were raising money for the Ava Roy Fund. At last check, they raised more than $18,500. Meanwhile, a fundraiser in Shrewsbury this past weekend also raised money for the 9-year-old daughter of fallen Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy. An additional $70,000 was raised at that event.